Everybody. My name is Crystal Pacheco, and this is this month's edition of Introduce Me to Something I Don't Know. As you can see, I'm in a very country setting. I live in Saint Adolphe de Howard of Quebec, and it's a very small town about an hour and 10 minutes north of Montreal. We have 3,700 people living in my town. And I want to talk about something pretty interesting about where I live. There's an abandoned military base that's pretty close to my house, about 7 minutes away, and it's on the top of a mountain. And it was closed in 1987. The former Canadian military base located in Saint Adolphe de Howard began its operations in 1950. Its mission was to monitor the airspace in southwestern Quebec and northeastern Ontario. It was built for the Cold War, and it was part of the NORAD organization, which is the North American Aerospace Defense Command. And this military base located in Saint Adolphe was part of the Pine Tree Line, which consisted of a network of 33 radar stations under Canada-US jurisdiction, ranging along the 49th parallel to protect North America from possible air attacks from the USSR, aka Russia. So now, since the Cold War is over, the military base has been abandoned for years, pretty much as long as I've been alive. So after it's been abandoned, it's become a fitness center, and then later it became one of those military castles where people ride on horses and joust and eat big drumsticks and drink beer or whatever they do. And then that didn't work out, so it's since been abandoned yet again. When I was about 11 years old, I went biking with my friend who lives not very far from me, and we decided to go visit the military base. And there's a road that goes up there, and since it was our first time going, we didn't know how to get there, so we took the road up, and then we came across an abandoned water slide. It was like a big empty pool, and up the hill was it looked like a pinball machine. It was so cool. So we climbed down the pool, and then we climbed up the pinball machine. Like it had those bumpers, and we climbed up because we didn't know how to get there. And later when we got to the top, we saw there was a road that goes right up there. So, but anyway, it was pretty cool. And in those days, it used to have a big round ball, kind of like Disney's Epcot, or even Montreal Expo has a big ball like that. It has since been destroyed. It used to have 3 balls, and those are meant for the radar system. It has since been more and more destroyed by vandals and people who just like to break things. And it's about 3 stories. It's really huge. It's got thick concrete walls, many, many rooms with beds, like cots. There used to be a control room in the basement. You could hear mice and things crawling in there. And there's tons of secret tunnels that lead to the barracks at the bottom of the mountain, and there's a lake there too. And there's a big water reservoir there. So I've always been really interested with this place. It's kind of shrouded in mystery to me, and it's kind of creepy too, but super cool because there's so much to see there. And you have a beautiful view of all the Laurentians. You could see all the way to Mont Tremblant, which is about 40 minutes from Saint Adolphe. So that's pretty far. So I could tell you guys a story that happened to me in 2003. I was with my boyfriend, and we were driving to a party. And while I was driving there, I saw this huge spotlight coming from the military base. It's like, what? Like nothing ever happens there. Like nothing. It's quiet. I live in a quiet town. So I saw that spotlight and I had to go see what's going on. So we drove over there and there was police tape saying do not cross, but I crossed anyway. And as we were going up the hill, getting closer to the base, I saw tanks, and then I saw a big satellite going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So I'm like, cool. And I took out my camera and I took a picture, but the flash didn't go off, so I couldn't see anything. So then I turned the flash on and I took a picture. And right there, a woman came up to my car. She said, "What are you doing here? You gotta get out of here. This is private property." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I've never seen anything going on here. I live in St. Adolphe, and I just was wondering what was going on." And she, just let me go. So I turn around. I go back to the bottom of the hill, and waiting for me was a SUV with two military police. And they come up to my car and they look in my car and they're like, "What are you supposed to be doing here? What are you doing here? Don't you know this is private property? Didn't you see the tape?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I've lived here my whole life. I've never seen anything going on here. So I just wanted to know what was going on." And he looked in my back seat and I had like a big bottle of barbecue sauce. He said, "Is that beer?" And I'm like, "No, it's barbecue sauce." So he took my boyfriend's driver's license because he was the one driving my mom's car, and they took down our license plate and everything. And then they said, "Okay, you're free to go." So then we went on our way to the party, and the whole time we were being trailed by an SUV with a satellite on its roof. So we turned off to go to the party, and I saw the car go whoosh, right by me, and nobody was there. Nobody was at the party. We left, and we went to my boyfriend's house, who lives in Morn Heights, which is the next town over. It's about 15 minutes away from my house in St. Adolphe. And about a half hour later, we see police lights come, and the military police, they came. They were American military from New York, and they said, "We know you took some pictures. You better delete those or we're going to arrest you." I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Here's my camera, And he's like, "Oh, better not see any nude photos on here." I was like, "Yeah, okay." So he deleted the pictures, and then he said, "You should lock your door. Like, this is Canada. It's not safe." I said, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we went to your house and we knocked on the door and nobody was home, and we even opened the door." And I was like, "Oh my God." So they tracked down they went to my house first thinking that I went there, and then they came to my boyfriend's house after because they got his address from his license. So all that, I'm just like a little innocent girl from St. Adolphe de Howard, but you don't mess with the military. And it turned out, I found out later, that it was because George Bush was meeting with our prime minister in Montebello, Quebec, which is pretty far from here. It's about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours away. But since it's the president of the United States having an important meeting, they made their base in my town again, just to monitor the airspace to make sure nobody's, gonna attack. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And it's also why I am not filming from the base, because I'm scared to go there now. It has yet since been abandoned for many, many years, but I'm just scared. I'm too scared to go back. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed my little history about my small town and the really cool military base. And I would suggest, if you guys are feeling adventurous, that you go and check it out because it's pretty cool. All right, have a good day. Bye. Signing off.